everyone. So today we're going to talk about fonts. I've had a lot of questions from clients about fonts. How do I select fonts? Where do I go to find them? And just kind of how to approach that. So I thought today would be a good chance to do a video on showing you a bit of the insider scoop into font selection. So our article that goes along with this video is going to go into more depth on different font styles and types and the emotions they evoke and things like that, which I think should be at the forefront of your decision-making process. So if you're going to be choosing a font for your brand or for just a project you're working on, but ultimately thinking about who is going to be seeing this piece and how you want them to feel and the emotion you want to portray, needs to be considered when you're selecting a font. So make sure to read that as in addition to this video, because today I really wanted to just show you a few of the top resources to where you can find fonts. So let's do that together. Okay, so first and foremost, myfonts.com. So myfonts.com is one of the best marketplaces out there for purchasing fonts, and they host a lot of more of the professional level fonts available. Now, they do have a wide variety. You're going to see all kinds of stuff on here, but they are more professionally focused. So you're going to get quality products, well-designed fonts that are very strategic and thoughtful. So when you come to myfonts.com, you can just go straight to the categories tab, and right away you see the primary types of fonts you can search within: serif, sans serif, slab serif, handwritten, display, or script. Or you can do view all, but let's look at a few together. So when I'm looking at serif fonts here, it's really nice because I can set a lot of parameters too. So here on the left sidebar, I can adjust things like weight, width, height. Some of these things are quite technical terms, but weight means the thickness of the font. So in this first example that's top of the page, this is kind of, I would say, a medium thickness, which makes sense because the website defaults to kind of being right there in the middle. But if you notice, if I slide this to a lighter weight, and it kind of tells me hairline, thin, extra light, light. If I do that, it's going to start to give me different results because now I'm searching for something thinner, or on the flip side, something thicker, like extra bold, right? So this is a great way to search not only in the category of font you're looking for, but what additional elements you're trying to capture in your font. Width is another. So width is referring to how wide or narrow the font appears. And so you might have seen fonts before that are like this first one is actually a quite wide font. You could go even wider into these extended. And actually that one stayed up there because it's quite extended. If I go to ultra, like you see how it just elongates in a horizontal manner, versus if I go to condensed, it's tighter. It's shrinking it up. It's making the letter forms taller. So just so you know, this is not, they're not altering fonts in any way, but certain fonts are designed to be either extended or condensed, sometimes also called narrow. So I would ignore these other ones. These are a little more technical than what you really need. And then you can also search other specifics here in the sidebar, like if you happen to know things about your font maker and things like that, which I typically don't. I wouldn't expect you to either. But now when you're in the view screen here, you'll notice it also defaults to this tab with images on. Now I could turn that off and see just the text that I want to see without those additional images. The images are nice because it kind of puts the font into a context for you, into a design, so you can get a sense of what it would look like actually being used potentially. But sometimes that's just a lot to look at, and I often just like to see just side by side my fonts to see which one I'm leaning towards. Now, this is the best part. Using this field right here, you can type your own text. So, hello, we're doing a zip code creative video. Right? So if I type that in, that's the text it's going to preview to me. So if I have a specific word or, especially if I'm doing brand work, I might like to see the name of my company or the name of the headline or the tagline in the phrase. So I can see what that looks like. And then I can just start scrolling through and you see all the different varieties and differentiations there available to you. So just as well, if I've already done that and now I want to say look at, script fonts, it's going to keep my previous settings. So it's still showing me, hello, we're doing a zip code creative video, and it has the images toggled off. So just know that these are ways to help you search. Now, these are obviously, this website is all a paid place. So you would be looking for a font and then purchasing it. So you'll notice here on the side, you see the price that it is. You can get this font. In the case of fonts that have different packages or weights, you'll notice if I choose this one, for example, I could either be purchasing the whole entire family package, or I could purchase individual styles if I prefer, but usually it's a better deal to get the whole set. And this one's kind of an expensive example. They're not all this expensive, but just keep that in mind. If you know you're like only going to use the book weight of the font or the medium weight, you could buy just that one singular individual style. Okay, so that is myfonts.com. Now, here is a little secret that I'm going to share with you. Notice the last tab here called What the Font. This is a tool I use a lot. If I see an image of something and I don't know what font it is, I can upload it here and it will tell me what font it is. So let's do that together really quick. I want to show you what this is like. So I'm going to just really quick take a screenshot of this Yankee word here that's on their website just as an example and use this uploader button, grab that screenshot, and you'll notice it wants me to draw a box here around the font, and then I click identify font, and it's going to in theory it should give, okay, let me say this, if it has that font in their database, it should be the very first option available. But you'll see here's the image I sampled, and here are the fonts it thinks it might be or that are similar to it. And notice like even this first result, that isn't exactly it. The A is different. You can see this has a more of a O-shaped A versus this style here. But the second result, so it doesn't have that footer on the Y, so that's not it either. But I could at least find something similar. Maybe this Rotunda extra round is kind of close. You can see how I can compare it back to my image and so forth. And so this tells me like, one, they don't maybe have this exact font in their database, but I can at least find something close. So this one here, however, is looking kind of close. Notice how the E, the bottom of the E has like an angular line where it cuts off rather than being like straight and perpendicular to the ground. It's at an angle. So this one is kind of very similar, I would say. I might choose that one, right? So anyway, I just had to show you that feature because oftentimes we are working with things that already exist and we don't know what fonts they are and we want to find out. So here is a great way to attempt to do that. Okay, now let's look at a couple other resources. CreativeMarket.com is an awesome resource. Now, this is more of a marketplace where different artists can sell their work. And so in their fonts area, similarly, it's a little more, it's a little less robust, but you can look at, serifs or whatever type of font you're looking for. And you can also do preview text here as well. Similarly, you can make that preview text smaller or bigger. And search your fonts this way. This is also a paid website. So notice these numbers here. It is not $7,500. I'm actually logged into my account where I have credits. So these are saying it would cost 7,500 credits to buy it. Or if you don't have a paid monthly account, you can purchase just one time with a dollar amount, and that will be displayed to you differently there. But this website has, I would say, more interesting and creative fonts. Like, imagine artists who are creating artwork of letter form, and they are selling their fonts, their custom created fonts on this website. So you'll see there's a lot more kind of fun, funky, retro vibe, like more vibey things, more unique and interesting. Like, look how this E is curved there. So you can really search for some cool stuff on this website. As opposed to my fonts being like the ultimate professional place to shop, this would be my second favorite. And then lastly, many of you maybe have heard of dafont.com, which is a fun name. Their website is, I would say, very amateur. Okay, so these fonts are free to download. They do not cost, but they are also not by any means professional level fonts in their style, in their way that they have been created. So you'll notice right away, I'm not actually in a specific category. I'm just under recently added. I think that's the default homepage, but let's go to, for an example, and they have, and you'll notice, look at their categories. They're not like the same. Here I could go to basic, just serif or sans serif here, or there is a whole script category with different styles. Like, is it more calligraphy? Is it more handwritten? That sort of thing. But you'll notice they have a lot of other additional categories kind of into the vibe. Like, do I want a Western vibe, or do I want a cartoon vibe? There's different things, but these are, artists who have made these, but more on an amateur level. So I wouldn't personally recommend using this website for brand fonts. Every once in a while, you'll get lucky. You could find something interesting that looks, pro. But I would say stick to this site for the more kind of fun, if you have you're just wanting to do, I don't know, an event flyer for your community or something like that, and you want it to feel, old school, and maybe you're throwing a homecoming dance or something like that, you might come here and find a font like this under the old school category that looks like it's like an old high school or collegiate looking style, right? So use it for kind of the fun extracurriculars, but I would not recommend you find your logo or brand fonts here. All right, well, I hope that was helpful. Like I mentioned before, read our blog post to get more information on types of fonts, the emotions and feelings they can evoke, and how to pick them based on type and the way you want your brand to be portrayed. So let me know if you have any questions. Feel free to reach out or leave a comment. Thank you.